AI right now is just analyzing everything much faster than what it can do as a human. And so everything is going very fast. And when you are looking at the behavior of the market, it changed a lot over the years. Because usually when you got like CPI or NFPs back in 2000, markets was like needed 2 to 3 days in order to digest the stuff.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of The Blonde Dollar. Today's guest is Thomas Veillet. He's the co-founder of Investir.ch, a breakout voice on Swissquote's YouTube channel, launching Morning Bull and a rare breed in finance. Someone who knows the game inside out but refuses to take it too seriously.
There was no electronic stock market. Everything was on the floor. The news and the information was coming by newspaper. But now, today, the NFP is getting out at 2:30 and then at, let's say, 3:30 it's done. Everything's in the market. People knows everything, people knows all the details, and that's over.
This is The Blonde Dollar with Ignacio Ramirez. Quick disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and do not constitute financial investment or legal advice. This content is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a substitute for professional advice. Always do your own research and consult a qualified advisor before making any financial decisions. All investments involve risk, including the potential loss of capital. And now, let's get started with the episode. Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of The Blonde Dollar. Today's guest is Thomas Veillet, and Thomas made a name for himself on the trading floors of Geneva, but he built a following by blowing up the conventions of financial commentary. After years managing money for banks and hedge funds, Thomas turned his back on the institutional machine and picked up the pen, launching Morning Bull, a market column that's become must-read material for thousands of people. Sharp, sarcastic, and relentlessly clear, his writing cuts through jargon like a chainsaw through butter. Today, he's the co-founder of Investir.ch, a breakout voice on Swissquote's YouTube channel and a rare breed in finance. Someone who knows the game inside out but refuses to take it too seriously, a little bit like myself. In this conversation, we get into why he walked away from the old school trading world, how he built a media brand on blunt honesty and black humor, and what it takes to tell the truth in an industry that prefers spin. From compliance headaches to Swiss taboos, burnout to freedom, Thomas holds nothing back. This is finance with fangs, and a hell of a lot more fun than your average morning note. Thomas, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome to The Blonde Dollar.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
I am deeply honored. I am surrounded by a superstar. Many of our listeners don't live in Switzerland, but just to give you an idea, Thomas is so famous here in Switzerland and Geneva that whenever he walks in the streets, people stop him and ask him for autographs. So it's absolutely amazing to have you here. And let's start with what you're doing today. Tell us a little bit about how does your typical day look like. You're one of those guys that I feel has like 48 hours in a day because you do so many things. What is it that you're currently working on?
First of all, thanks for having me. And second one, people don't ask for autograph right now; they just ask for selfies. That's something that we have to learn. Second thing, yeah, my days is quite short. I think that I would be happy to have more times in the day. I would kill someone to get 48 hours a day for one day. 24 is clearly too short. Usually, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And first of all, my job is to read everything I can to the hand on. I read everything I can see about finance. So I just basically read all the time, basically in English. So I just read the Wall Street, I read the Financial Times and all this kind of newspaper and the Barron's for sure. So every day I'm trying to get the substance of the market to try to understand what's going on in the market and why the market is moving, why the market is doing something, be afraid or whatever. I try to translate what I feel about the market because I used to be a trader. Back in time, the question was to understand the feeling of the market, and sometimes it's very difficult to get it. The other thing is when I was working as a trader, I was always asking myself, so why shall I buy or why shall I sell? And is there any special reason? Is there any fundamental reason and for buying the market or selling the market? So right now I'm trying to translate that for the people because I think that's usually newspaper and financial medias are trying to make it too complicated. I just wanted to make something differently and more funny.
Mhm.
Let me tell you a story. When I started to this column back 20 years ago, it's gonna make I'm gonna turn 20s, and not myself, but the blog in February. It's been 20 years in February
20
2026 that I started
years.
this blog. Yeah, the blog,
Oh my
I
God.
mean the writing version, but the video is started. The YouTube video started like 5 years ago, but
Mhm.
the writings session started like 20 years ago, and the idea was it started with like it was the morning, the day after the earnings of Intel. I just remember the name of the company because it's still there. And I mean, I just read an information from coming from New York from an analyst, a guy from Morgan Stanley, and he was just speaking about the earnings and what he saw and what he think that what was the quality of the result. And
Mhm.
I mean, I was working, I was at the office, and basically, when I started to read this paper, there was like 17 pages and something like 15 pages as a disclaimer. But
Of course.
basically, when you start to read that paper, after like 2 to 3 hours to read that between the call of the client and following the market, then I just was like thinking to myself and say, okay, basically, I just read like 15, 17 pages, and I don't even know if I have to buy this stock, sell this stock. So everything started from there. So I tried to make it simple. At this period, at this time, my boss was always telling KISS the KISS methodology. So keep it simple and stupid. So the
Mhm.
idea is to try to get the substance of this article and translate that to the people and explain to them why it's positive. You just need to get the story. So I
Mhm.
tried to write something like that. I was not someone very I mean, comfortable with writing. So I started to do that as like a hobby for all my colleagues around the training room, and then we started to forward the email and forward the email and forward the email. So we were like very fast. Like 1,000 people were following me. That it
Mhm.
started to be something different. But basically, this is what I'm doing every morning. So from 4 o'clock in the morning until something like 11. So I'm starting with the reading, then the writing, then I just like I shoot the video after that, and I make the video. I make everything by myself, so I'm basically working alone. Then around 10:30, I'm just publishing the writing story at 7 o'clock when I'm able to wake really at 4 o'clock in the morning, and when the day before was too not too much complicated. And then after that, I'm working on a video, and usually get out at around 10 o'clock in the morning. So basically, it's the same story. One story is on the paper, when the other story is on video. But people are just some of them just like the video, and other one like the
Mhm.
writing version. Then for the rest of the day, I'm just working on the rest of all my project, which is a lot. So
You have a
I'm
lot of stuff on your plate.
Yeah, when I started to be like a columnist, I was just fan of all these guys in US who are just writing columns, and especially one of the guy who is not very specialized, used to talk about finance. This guy is Jeremy Clarkson. This guy is more talking about cost than about finance. But when I started to read all those columns, I thought it was really fun to have this kind of information, speaking about very interesting subject and being more casual than the strict way of talking about finance. But at this time, everybody was telling me that in Switzerland, this is not the way we are talking about finance. You need to wear a tie. You need to be very serious about that and be very thorough about what you are talking. And you cannot just joke about finance. This is what
Mm.
people were telling me like 20 years ago. So I just kept writing because for me it was like a hobby. I started to fall in love about writing about finance. Then more and more people started to follow. And then for like the 8 or 9 first years, it was like everything was free. I wasn't paid anything for doing this job. This is
Mhm.
just because it's quite a kind of passion, like you do on your LinkedIn stuff. This is everything is about passion. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
So yeah, basically that's something I love to do. And I'm being honest, if tomorrow I have to stop it, I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna need to follow like a psychotherapy or something like that. This is kind of my
Wow.
this is kind of my way to go to the psychiatrist every day in order to just get out of myself what I think about the market. And the more you grew older, the more you get the experience about the market, the more you got the feeling that yeah, you have seen um, many times some kind of situation happen again and again and again. And so everybody says we have a very short memory. So it's very interesting to try to put that in perspective. And when you are not very active in the stock market, like I used to be back in time, and you have get some perspective and get time
Hmm.
to reflect differently. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff. Started to work pretty well after the first 10 year, which was quite difficult. But right now, everybody wants to work and do something. Everybody, it's like no, not everybody, obviously, but lots of people wants to do something with me, which is very
Listen, there's so many things I love about you. I mean, well, first of all, congratulations. I read this stat. I think you've written over 5,000 market columns, which
uh,
is absolutely insane. You said it a moment ago. You were doing this for many years, virtually for free, which clearly shows how passionate you're about markets. And I think everyone can agree, everyone that reads you, that everyone agrees that you still have that sparkle in your eyes. We see that you absolutely love it. So congratulations for that. I also love how you reinvented yourself over the years and find a way really to craft your own path within this world of finance, which historically was very traditional, and you make it a lot more casual now. For those of you that have never consumed Thomas's content, most of it, if not all, is created in French, right?
yeah, yeah. Everything
So
is in French.
exactly. So you can, of course, now use a lot of AI tools to translate it.
Yeah.
But here in Switzerland, everyone is reading him. It's absolutely fantastic. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the way you write and talk about markets, because I find it incredibly interesting. A lot of people talk about storytelling in finance. It became some sort of buzzword, but most people have no idea what they're talking about. But you definitely know. You've been experimenting with this for 2 decades. So my first question is, what makes a what makes a great piece of financial storytelling?
Um, I mean, basically, I think that finance is very often boring. It's
Hmm.
boring. I mean, it's boring because it's complicated. You cannot just say, "I love this company, so I'm gonna buy this stock because I love the company." You have to explain yourself. You have to go into details, and sometimes, yeah, you can just study all the details. But being honest, you don't really need to have all the details. And when you just read about finance, I was very shocked at the beginning that everybody is going so deeply in the story, and then at the end you are lost and you don't want to go further. So basically, I thought that for me, as you said, storytelling is very important, and this is where I learned to to tell stories basically. Because when you start to look at a situation in the market, it was like uh, the, the the perception of like a guy from shooting videos or whatever, and you look at like different kind of perspective, and you try to explain the story as easily as you can. I never went to university, all this stuff, and I'm basically a basic guy, and I was able to survive in this market. I learned a lot of stuff by myself, but I think that it's important to just go directly to the target. I explain what's the
Hmm.
idea, why you are buying the stock. Okay, there is some fundamentals that is important, and there is also the technical, and there is also the story that you can just tell. If you have a great company, but it's boring and you don't understand what they are doing as a business, I mean, sometimes it's very difficult to identify yourself at the company you want to buy. But if you are just starting to observe the company, understand how they are working, and well, who are the people inside, and what's the perception of the company from outside of the market, not even in finance, but everywhere. Then you
Hmm.
start to understand the company differently. But then when you have a situation, just look at what it is and don't try to be so concentrated. Just explain the story and try to
Hmm.
be very thorough and very simple about what's going on. I mean, this is the only way I found to keep interested in the stock market, because when I quit, when I leave the bank I was working for back in 2009, for me it was like, okay, I'm just fed up. I'm just fed up about everybody, all those people were knowing everything, just telling that story that just were just coming out from some business report or whatever. But
Hmm.
at the end, you don't understand what you are doing. So for me, it was like more like get yourself some information, start to understand what's the story, and try to just explain it with your word, and especially with your word, which is, in my case, was my word. So I'm not this guy. When I started in finance, like 20, 35 years ago, I have to wear a tie and a suit, and this is not me. That was not me. And
Hmm.
year after year, I started to think that maybe this is not what I really wanted to do, and this is not what I wanted to do at the beginning. So I just tried, as you said, I just tried to uh, reinvent myself and be the guy I wanted to be. And I saw that my experience, I was very lucky because I started to be a trader. I was like 20, 21 years or 22, something like that. So that was
Hmm.
very early in my life. So my experience is very extended. I was very convinced that I could explain to people who are thinking that finance is very complicated, that is not that complicated. So
Hmm.
basically, buy low, you sell high. Then you can just put the story around that, but try to be more thorough, try to read a little bit more, and try to simplify the stuff and to make it funny. If you just add it, you were talking about IA just a few minutes ago, and when you are talking about that, AI is using a lot of punchline, and this is very important to just add some punchline in your text, in your word,
Hmm.
in order to make it interesting, to make it fun.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm trying to speak about finance. Otherwise,
Mm.
I'm better to stay in my bed and sleep all the
Yeah.
day.
And you were talking about 2009 when you left. That must have been so scary, like for a guy working in like big institutions. You have your life kind of sorted out, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm gonna make my life a little bit harder here. I'm gonna take a completely, new path that is virtually completely unexplored, and I don't even know if I can make a living out of this. I mean, walk us through your thinking process at the time. Why did you decide to leave and take that final step? Hey there, quick favor to ask. If you enjoy the blunt dollar, the unfiltered takes, the stories, and the laughs, the easiest way to support the show is by tapping that subscribe button right now while you're listening. And here's my promise: if you do, I'll keep bringing you honest conversations, fresh perspectives, and the kind of finance talk that's engaging, insightful, and worth your time. Thanks so much for being here, and let's keep these great finance conversations going.
There was no thinking, basically. just just like woke up in the morning and say, okay, cannot take it anymore. So basically, I was working in a bank. I was like I was there for like 1 year and a half, and we were in the middle of the subprime crisis, and I was like tired to be a sales. I was more like an active guy who wanted to trade, who wanted to be more in the market. So I decided to say, okay, enough is enough. And
Mhm.
basically, I just made a proposition to my boss back in time, and he said, I think that you are really a very good salesman." I said, "No, I'm not a salesman anymore. I just want to be a trader again. I just want to trade. So give me a book, give me something to trade, and I'm gonna make my living out of it." And he said, "No, this is not the way it's working." So I said, "Okay, I'm gone," and that's it. And I mean, the day I took this decision, I understood. This is my second therapy right now. I understood, like, back in time, I really wanted to leave, but I mean, a few years before already.
And so, I mean, clearly, things turned out very well for you after all these years of hard work. And I'm curious to hear how you found your place, particularly in Switzerland, which is not exactly known as the place to be for financial satire, but you've built a brand doing just that. And And I'm curious to hear if you ever felt pressure, like culturally or even like professionally, not to speak so freely about markets, not to be so casual, not to be so blunt, or if you've always been able to do whatever you wanted since you went independent.
Being honest, for me, when I left the banks, it was like something really new, and I started to find my way in the middle of all this business. The business I'm in right now was not existing at this time. I mean, talking about finance the way I'm doing it right now, or over the last 20 years, no, nobody were doing that in Switzerland, especially. There was some people who were doing this job in US, maybe obviously,
Hmm.
but not in Switzerland. So. I started to try to find a way to make money out of it, and was not easy because people they really love what I'm writing. I got plenty of fans, but they are maybe not always ready to pay for having this kind of comment. Maybe I said,
Hmm.
but on the other hand, you have to find different way to make it work. So, I got very bad comment at the beginning, and people were saying that I was crazy, and this is not the way you have to talk about finance, but they've seen that I'm started to write, and I didn't care about what people thought about my writing. So I did what I loved, and I did. I write something that I thought that would please to people, to the people in finance. And when I read the number of people who are on my newsletter every day, I will tell you. I mean, more than 50% are working in banks in Switzerland. So
Hmm.
there are people who work in banks. So they are reading my writing, and they are coming from banks. This is not individual people who are doing a side job on the other side. They are people who are in banks because they need this kind of easy information to read every morning, because
Hmm.
the rest is it's too boring, it's too long to
Of
understand. So
course.
I make a part of the job, and I give them that to read very easily. That's the way I thought I would love to have. I mean, if I had someone who would do the same job for me, that I would be very happy. So I just took
Mm.
this job and did that over the years. And I was so I wouldn't say disciplined, but I wouldn't say, but I've been there for every morning for the last 20 years almost. I took some vacation sometimes. Basically, I'm here all the time. I mean, even when I'm on vacation, sometimes I'm still writing. So people know I'm here. I was there 20 years ago. I was there 15 years ago, and I'm going to be there in the next 15 to 20 years. I don't want to stop doing that. I just love to do this kind of writing. And I don't ask myself some question. Everything I got as a job right now, I mean, the Investir.ch, which is my website, I'm writing there every morning. This is something I built with my associate, and the rest, like Swiss Code, it just came to me, and they just came to
Mhm.
make some proposition, and just they say, okay, you are the only one you can talk about finance for this kind of clients, and I can
Mhm.
tell you that I got also some other clients that would be also surprising to that people that love to see. Oh, I got some bigger client. I mean, when you are
Mhm.
talking about smaller bank. Sometimes you think that you've got only some small client. No, no, there is a plenty of people who are reading this comment,
Mhm.
and everything just came to me. But
Wow.
I do think that, as I said, for me, the only word I got coming from is patient.
Yeah.
I'm just passionate about that, and at the end, I try to understand. I think that people are just looking for easy information to digest every day about finance. Otherwise, it's
Mhm.
too boring. And on the top
Yeah.
of that, I'm going to stop about that after that. It's that basically, I think that the bank's system just make it very complicated for the client. They say, okay,
Why? Why is that?
because they need the client to stay, I mean, away of their business. Because finance for me is not that complicated. And I don't know, I thought that there was something to be done in this business, and I think I was right. And if you
Mhm.
look at the request from the people right now, they want to understand about finance. A lots of people. I mean, we have like 75,000 followers on the Swiss Code channel on YouTube. I mean, I got message every day from people who want to be teach about finance, but not
Mhm.
with the complicated stuff. They just want to understand the basic stuff in order to start understanding by themselves.
Yeah. And well, I mean, a lot of things to bounce on there, but one that I wanted to say is that you were writing all this stuff before AI. So imagine, the amount of work and hours that it would take Thomas to all that stuff at 4 in the morning with his two hands. Because now it's a lot easier, right? Like with all these tools helping us, but you did everything by hand, and wow, I think that's crazy. Now, regarding the rest you said, I mean, I agree with you. I think people are looking for simplicity, mixed up with a little bit of entertainment. A lot of people talk about edutainment now. I think the challenge is no longer access to information. Information is virtually free. It's really what you make out of it, because we are, uh, submerged by infinite amounts of data and news flow every day. And really, the challenge now is really to find the valuable stuff and share it in a format that people actually want to read it, because we're all fighting for attention, right? Like
Yeah.
we're all in the same business here. Something I wanted to ask you also is that you've said that your goal is to provoke thought, but not obviously to create scandals. And but there's a very thin line between those two, particularly in today's media climate. And I wanted to ask you, yeah, how do you see the difference between being a little bit provocative and being a troll, or just creating scandal for the sake of it?
Yeah, I think you have to be provocative and to push people to think about what's going on,
Hmm.
but you don't have to hurt people. I mean, there is some people I don't like, and if you read what I read or listen what I do on videos, you'll see that there are some people I don't like. But usually that's politicians, so they make the choice. They want to be politician. They are at risk. But I think that you have to be very respectful about people, and I'm trying to not going into stuff I don't, I'm not very comfortable at. For example, religion is very touchy. For example, vulgarity is very touchy. There is
Hmm.
a difference between being funny and being vulgar, being too vulgar and
Hmm.
being too aggressive. I mean, by words, you have to be very careful about that. But I agree with you, the line is very thin. And over the years, I got some problems, but usually, when you are just take a step back and talk to the people you hurt, and you say, "Okay, this is not what I meant. I just wanted to talk about that," and they start to understand, and this is not very big, and you learn about that.
Hmm.
And as soon as you learn, you can just adjust your cursor and be more. I mean, more fun than aggressive.
Hmm.
Sometimes there is some stuff that is bothering me about what I heard in finance or read every morning. And yeah, basically, you have to think about the respect you own to people, and also what if it was me, what I don't want to hear. It's quite simple. I mean, if somebody's talking about me, I just like when people like when what I'm doing, but it's very also difficult to accept the critics.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to be in both sides and think about what people are going to feel when they're going to read what I've done, and I
Hmm.
think to do that that way. But that's
Yeah.
not easy. And I said you're right. The line is very thin.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that, as long as what you create comes from a position of respect, there's always room to clarify if something it's badly interpreted.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think, for sure, like what I've seen from you always comes from that position. So that's good. Um, I'm also curious to hear what's your KPI? I mean, you produce a phenomenal amount of content. Um, at the end of the year, when you do your end of year review for yourself,
Right.
how do you evaluate yourself? Is it the amount of hours you filmed? Is it the amount of columns you put out? Is it the amount of people you met? Is it the amount of thank you messages you receive? How do you keep track of your progress?
I mean, when you are looking at for the videos, for example, when you are looking at the like
Mm.
that you get every day and the comment that you get every day,
Mm.
I've got some people who hate me and they keep writing every day that I'm stupid and what I said is totally wrong, that blah, 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 blah. But they're coming every day, again and again.
Do you read all that stuff, or you
No,
just ignore it?
no, no. Sometimes I'm just stop to read that, but it was not that much. I mean,
Mm.
99% of the comments that are on the videos are positive.
Okay,
So that's,
that's good.
I mean, this is one of the evaluation for me. People just are happy about what I'm doing. And if they are not coming back. And when you were talking about meeting people in the street, for me, it's brand new. For the last 2 years, people are starting to stop me in the street and say, I just love what you do. This is my evaluation. I don't
Mhm.
care about the rest. But when you meet people, every people I meet in the street, okay, that's not the Beatles. This is from people from time to time. But
Yeah.
when those guys are coming to me, that's the reward, and that's basically the best reward ever. I mean, how many follower you get, how many views you got, it's important. I mean, you are looking at that because you are your partner for like Swissquote. They are checking the number of view I'm doing every day, the number of follower we got when we started the channel. So that's important. But when people are just saying, "Hey guys, we are very happy to work with you. We are very happy from about what you do on videos, on writing," this is my reward. For me, it's like I don't care. I mean, performance and money is important, but I mean, in this case, it's more like if people are happy, I'm happy, and getting
Mhm.
this kind of contact is for me more than everything. It's very important. For example,
Mhm.
I mean, when I started to shoot videos for Swissquote 5 years ago, they said, okay, we're gonna make a try for these videos for 3 months. And if you are not making 1,000 view per day, and we have less than 3,000 followers, we're gonna just kill out the story.
Mhm.
Then I started on the 1st of September 5 years ago, and the first video made like 800 views. Second was like 1,800, and then we ran to 5,000. And then the follow was like eating to the roof after like 5 days or 10 days because people were knowing me from the blog and from what I've done for the
Yeah.
last 15 years, and they trust me. They said they understood that I'm going to be there for a long time.
Mhm.
And when we just like renew the contract every year with Swissquote, this is one of the best evaluation for me. Says there was not even a meeting. It's like, okay, so see you next year. That's it.
Maybe that's the future, like end of year reviews according to the number of likes and impressions.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm a very emotional people. I'm an
Mm.
emotional person, and basically, when people are happy about my job, I'm happy, and the rest is supposed to follow. I mean, I'm gonna be angry as when the reward is not following. But one of
Mhm.
the first reward is like if people are happy about what you are doing. I mean, how can you complain?
That's
So
priceless.
this is my end of year review. That's it.
Very nice. Um, Now, I also wanted to ask you about the way markets digest information, because I think there's very few people with your profile, like with so many years of experience, like you, but also such a deep understanding about how media uh, really works. And I think you've seen firsthand how the media floods in during crashes, and how a lot of media companies benefit from all the clickbait whenever there's volatility and so on. And I guess my question for you is, what role do you think media hype plays in shaping investor behavior, particularly for retail investors? Hey there, quick ad break. Do you work in the finance industry and have a genuinely interesting story to share? I'm always on the hunt for great guests who bring raw, unfiltered insights to the table. Or maybe you know someone with a story worth telling? Please put us in touch. You can reach out to me directly via LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. And now, back to the show.
I mean, a lot, because recently, for the last few years, I mean, for the last 17 years, we got this iPhone stuff and this
Hmm.
kind of smartphone, and all this stuff is changing the game. I mean, people used to get information to newspaper not that long ago. I mean, when I started to put my first foot on the floor on the stock market exchange in Geneva back in 1991. I mean, there was no electronic stock market. Everything was on the floor. So the news and the information was coming by newspaper. And by the end of the 90s, we start to get the first modem ADSL with the quick stuff and getting information from internet. So the news flow started to increase in terms of speed. And right now, everybody's got an iPhone, it's got an application, who's got all the details coming like um, a new some a pop up on your screen saying that something happening on the market. So everything is getting more faster, and the analyzing stuff for the news is also very fast. First of all, because
Mhm.
the algorithms and all the AI right now is just analyzing everything much faster than what you can do as a human, and so everything
Mhm.
is going very fast. And when you are looking at the behavior of the market, I mean, also it changed a lot over the years, because usually when you got like a CPI or NFPs back in 2000, I mean, the markets was like needed 2 to 3 days in order to digest the stuff. But
Yeah.
now, today, I mean, the NFP is getting out at 2:30, and then at allez, let's say 3:30, it's done. Everything's the market. People knows everything. People knows all the details. People knows all the subtleties of the number, and that's over. So everything is getting faster, and we need to get more and more information. And you cannot just lose too much time to read like a 15 pages article about what stock you have to buy. So it makes again my job more important, maybe for myself probably, but I know that people don't have much time. I mean, you were
Mhm.
talking about time in the day. I don't know how much free time you got in the day, but personally, not that much. So I have to
Mm.
be very thorough about what kind of time I can allocate to reading newspaper, understand that news or that news. So I need to have the substantific muela of all the detail from this information as soon as possible, and I'm trying to help on that one. But I think over the years, so I'm not feeling that like an old guy, even if I got gray hairs. But basically, I'm 54, so I've been in the banking system since my 16th birthday. So yeah, started to be a long time ago, and
40 years almost. Wow.
yeah. Don't say that. Don't say that. Started in '87. Oh my god. Hey, next year is gonna be 40. Yes. So
Wow.
basically, uh, everything changed a lot. I mean, when I started in the banks, September '87. I mean, 1 month later, we got the big crash. That was not my fault, but basically, that was very different. I mean, we got people. We came. I was working in an agency in some kind of village in Geneva, and people were coming at the desk and say, "Okay, give my money back. Everything is crashing." You got the client in front of you. So right now, it doesn't happen anymore. Everything's changed. Everything's going faster. Even the recoveries are going faster. The news are
Mhm.
going faster. Everything is going faster. And when you are looking at I think it's not over. And you were telling a little bit earlier that I was doing everything. I was doing everything with my hand. I'm still doing it with my hand. I mean, the AI just helps to make a resume, but after that, you have to rewrite everything and to make
Mhm.
it really human, because
Yeah.
the one is not that perfect. But basically, yeah, there is always something to explain and to tell as a story.
Yeah.
I think
I think what is also like quite challenging when you're in a position like yours is that you're basically making a living out of it, right? Like it's not the same thing making a podcast for fun like this one or writing on LinkedIn than really having to make a living out of it. And and I think it must be really hard like to wake up every day, stay current, stay funny, and when when your earnings depend on it. And I also wanted to ask you about that. Like, how do you avoid burning out when your work depends so heavily on your mood, on your energy, on things like the way you slept, which are sometimes super hard to control? How do you control those variables?
first of all, when you wake up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, when you go to the bed, you sleep. You sleep. No problem. That's the first thing. But the other thing is that, yeah, that's quite of, yeah, there is a stress. I mean, this is almost part of my life. You don't know if all the contracts you sign are going to be there forever. There is absolutely no guarantee about that. This is the joy to be independent, because you are trying to get one business, and when this business is set up and working, you say in your head, okay, and if it doesn't work, maybe I should get a second one. So you start a second kind of business. So
Hmm.
right now I just got like 6 or 7 kind of business on the row, and I know that if one of them is stopping, I can still live out of it because the rest is working. There was like I read a long time ago the book of Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book,
Hmm.
and he say
Yeah.
that when you are trying to make a business for yourself, you have to observe that as a sink. If you got a robinet, I don't know if we say robinet in English, for the sink.
Tap.
The tap, yeah, that's right. The tap. When you have like 10 taps in front of you and they are all closed, if you open one, you got some reward from this one. If you open the second one, you got a second reward. It depends on the wide of the opening and the flow
Hmm.
that's coming out of the tap. And if you get like the 10s open, if one of them is closing, doesn't matter because the 9 otherwise is working. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. But I have to yeah, I know that's not easy, and being independent is like it's not easy. It's you
Hmm.
work all the time. I mean, right now I'm working from Monday to Saturday. My only day off is basically Sunday, and if you look at the rest of the for the whole year, as I said, I'm going in vacation, but I'm still working in vacation. So that's a choice. But on the other hand, if tomorrow someone just coming to me and say, okay, I offer you a job in a bank and come back to the bank and you're gonna work with us as an advisor or whatever. Never,
And
never.
when do you go to bed? I mean, you wake up at 4, so you go to bed at you must be going
11,
super early.
11, 11.
Oh,
So
so you
that's
don't
five
sleep
hours
much.
sleep. Yeah,
Okay, wow.
yeah. Later than
Um,
that, it's complicated.
yeah. So two more questions before we close it up. One is about social media specifically. Are you bullish or bearish regarding the impact that social media is having on the way we consume financial content?
I think I'm bullish. I'm bullish because
Mm,
not about because I like it, but because the generation was coming after me and after you,
mhm,
those guy doesn't know how to read if it's not on TikTok or Instagram. So you're gonna need to feed those guys with the kind of social network they are just following it.
mhm,
If you are talking about young people right now, for example, one of my son is 25. He's starting to get interesting in finance just for investing in finance. Don't
mhm.
ask him to go to Market Watch or Barron's. He wants to have an app. He wants to have everything on his smartphone. And basically, if it's there was a short video on the Instagram, he would appreciate more. So
Yeah.
basically, I think you have to live with your time. I hate TikTok. I cannot go on that one. I try, but I cannot go on that one. I'm trying to survive in Instagram, but basically, I don't understand anything. I'm just following you on LinkedIn. I don't understand how you make so much people on your account. It's too much job, but I mean, it's part of the game right now. You need to be in the social network. Maybe it's going to change over the next few years. We don't know. I don't know, but I think that right now you cannot just go back and say, okay, I'm going to just buy a newspaper and that's going to be fine. You need to use all those channels. And if
Mm,
you are to like to create some content on internet right now, on internet or Instagram, YouTube, whatever, you need to be on the social networks.
mm.
I don't know if I have to be bullish, but I think it's part of the life right now.
Yeah.
And even if I'm quite old compared to my son or younger than that, I mean, I need to learn and try to survive in this business.
Yeah. So talking about your son, one last question. You've been in the business for 40 years. You've
Yep.
seen multiple crises. You know the industry inside out. You've worked at some big names. You've also walked the entrepreneurial route. If your son tells you, Dad, how can I have a successful career in finance if I were to start now in 2026? What would you
Don't
tell him?
come. Don't come. Do something else. No, no. I think if he wants to do that, it's very tough because I got not about my son, but I got some. very young kids who came to me recently and say, listen, explain us, I want to be a trader, I want to work in finance, tell me which works. It's very difficult right now to become a trader, especially if you're in Switzerland. You need to move somewhere else, at least in London or New York and something like that. But that's not easy. But if he's very passionate about finance, the recommendation would say just immerse yourself in finance. Just read, listen, do whatever you can about it. Just understand about the past, understand about the story, the successful people in this business. Read, read, and read. One of the best book I ever read about finance is The Market Wizard. It was like basically interviews about top traders. And for me, that was
Hmm.
like kind of inspiration because you start to understand, oh, those guys made their own life in finance. But as long as you read those books, there was like three of them or four of them, I don't know. But every time you read one of interview, you start to understand that there is no real path to make you
Hmm.
being successful in finance. You have to find your path. Um, for example, when I started in finance, we got some kind of formation. You can be a trader or you can be a sales trader. So I wouldn't be, I couldn't be a sales. So I choose the path of trader. And after years of trading, I decided to move to sales trading. I cannot do that. This is not me.
Hmm.
So you have to find your own path in finance and the way you want to do your own living. But I wouldn't be very, I couldn't make any recommendation because I don't even know for myself why I'm here and why I'm still here. Well, I'm going to tell you at the beginning of all this story, my story, I wanted to be an helicopter pilot. So I didn't care about finance. So I became an helicopter pilot. But on the other side, I needed to make money by being a trader. So I just moved two careers on the same times. I quit helicopter because there was no job at this time. And I stay in the finance. But basically, honestly, I love what I'm doing right now. I'm very happy to doing this job every day and to wake up every day. There is not one day in my life when I just wake up and say, "Oh no, I want to stay in bed." No, I'm very
Hmm.
happy to be awake and to start doing my job every day. So I'm very lucky. But if you have asked me when I was 20 what I wanted to do, that was not that. I wanted to
Mm.
go for Goldman Sachs and move to New York and blah blah blah. But right now, it's very difficult to make a recommendation. So if it's my son, I will try to push him to do something else. This is what it is right now.
Well, you did say something there that I relate to, which is passion, and whatever you do, I guess is be passionate about it. If it's finance, so be it. But I think that the key in a world where competition is fierce, I guess one of the unique ways to differentiate yourselves is just do something that you genuinely like, because you cannot fake that, right? Like waking up at 4 in the morning to read
Oh,
news, you can only fake it for 1 week or two, but afterwards reality catches up. But if you really do something that aligns with your core values and that you're genuinely interested
yeah,
by, like clearly it's your case, then that's how you win on the long term.
for sure.
um, Thomas, it's been absolutely amazing to have you on the show. So I haven't said it at the beginning, but please do make sure to subscribe to Thomas's channels, namely his YouTube channel with Swiss Code, which is amazing, as well as his morning newsletter in Investir.ch. It's absolute gold dust. I 100% recommend it. And Thomas, incredibly excited to see what you accomplish in 2026. I'm sure that newsletter and that YouTube channel are going to continue growing, and I can't wait to read all the content that you produce.
So, thank you for having me in your show. I just have to say as well that I love what you are doing as well. So this is not me and
Appreciate it.
myself. So it's very fun to have this kind of people like you and some other people in finance who are trying to make it funnier. And I hope that you are going to continue as well, and we are all going to continue. And thank you for having me.
The Blonde Dollar is written, produced, hosted, and edited by me, Ignacio Ramirez. Everything you hear, concept, script, sound design, and production, comes straight from my desk, and occasionally my kitchen table. Thank you so much for listening, and join me in the next episode of The Blonde Dollar for more raw, honest finance conversations.